I'm Lisa Bonta Sumii, and this is the AthMindset podcast series on sports-epreneur. This podcast series is a space for conversations with athletes, coaches, practitioners, and stakeholders in sports. And it's where those individuals share their perspectives, experiences, and thoughts on mental health in sports. Eric Kazimoff of Sports-epreneur is generously hosting the AthMindset podcast series on his platform, as he deeply believes that these conversations are essential and deserve to be prioritized. This is the AthMindset podcast series on Sports-epreneur. Sports-epreneur, the content platform where sports, entrepreneurship, and mental health collide. If you are looking to start a podcast or create original content, you have to talk with the team at Sports-epreneur. I work with them and I vouch for them. It's that simple. Go to sportse.io to learn more. Today here on the AthMindset podcast, hosted by Sports-epreneur, we have Hugh Roberts, professional soccer player. He plays for the Monterey Bay FC in the USL Championship. He's the creator of BackYardFooty. He's a founder of the Footy's Got You Foundation, an executive committee member of USL's Black Players Alliance, an executive board member of the Anti-Racist Soccer Club. And I'm sure I could go on, but I'm just honored and privileged to have you here, Hugh. Thanks for being here.
Of course, it's an honor. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So you got all those accolades. And I know I always like to talk about, this is where you are, this is what you're doing, but where have you come from to get here? Like your experiences in your family and your background up to now as a professional soccer player, as an athlete activist, you've had influence. How would you describe those influences?
I would definitely say my father, my upbringing definitely influenced me. He's Jamaican. He played soccer at NC State, played semi-pro. So it's pretty much growing up like the ball boy for him, always running around. I was there at his games all the time and grew up watching him. Yeah, pretty much probably did the sport starting off because of him kind of thing.
Okay.
So that had a lot of influence on me. And then, just the people around me that were close, like another Caribbean families were also close with us, also playing soccer. Soccer's heavy down there. And yeah. So that was definitely a big influence in my life and got me started with that.
I appreciate it. So my sister-in-law is Jamaican American. She's the youngest of 9. Her parents are immigrants from Jamaica and they're hard workers. Check this out though. All the boys are engineers and all the girls are doctors of some sort. Mm-hmm. And that's just deep on so many levels, like just the sacrifice. And then my mom's an immigrant from the Philippines. So just having that as part of our story and the influences that our parents, our siblings give to us is deep.
Right, definitely.
How about that? How about being an activist? Where did that come from?
I played this sport and I did this for my family, definitely for my family for sure. Not just my immediate family, but my extended family, wanting to help them out. My mom's from New York. I was born in New York. Her whole family's up there. She's one of 8. So, if you've been to New York, you've seen what New York is like. And, that was kind of my mindset early on as a child. And so activism within itself was almost like a timing thing. It wasn't necessarily like I'm just going to speak up. It was more so like this is affecting my life and it's going to affect my family just because I play a sport. Doesn't mean I couldn't be in the same situation as everything that's going on with, within certain communities. I could be the same victim as well. So, that kind of led me to, if Ahmaud Arbery, that's really where it started. It just affected me the most. Being at the time I was down in Charlotte, North Carolina. I never really lived in the South before. I was from the North. So it's a completely different culture for me. And so it was more so, if it's affecting me, my life is affecting my family. And it was the timing of it. And I felt it was right to just speak up in general.
I appreciate it. I think, that a lot of people have been affected, inspired, maybe just did some soul searching around the Black Lives Matter movement. And we have connection in Charlotte too. My best friend lives there. and my two godsons. So I've been there. That's the South, although they say it's East Coast. Let them tell it. It's the East Coast.
Yeah.
Right?
Over here, you think it's just the East versus West, but it's really like West, North, South, and I guess middle. But there's a big difference between the North and the South. I've lived in both, and yeah.
What's the difference for you?
I would say North's a little more industrial, bigger cities. Definitely more of a city life a little bit. I would say, obviously, the weather's a little colder, but because of that, I would say people are a little more, I guess, aggressive into themselves some, and it's all about business and, the dollar. And the conversation is going to start off like, what do you do for a living? Instead of just like, how are you doing? Because your job title really matters. And in the South is a little bit more of a slower pace, Southern hospitality. You walk down the street, a couple head nods here and there. How you doing, young man? Those kind of things. North, you get none of that, really. I lived in Philly. I played for Bethlehem Steel, Philadelphia organization, and I lived in Philly, Fairmount Park, right? It's a good area, but not too far from the North. And even I've had altercations and occasions too, and during my regular career and season, right? Like, you're trying to focus on your season, but also living in the city and surrounded by drama, and anything can happen too. So, yeah, it was definitely a different lifestyle. So, different comparisons, but all fun within itself definitely grew me and turned me to the man I am today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for that. I mean, coming from your experience from New York, being, a Black man with Jamaican heritage, like when you step off the field, you can easily be just anybody else and be treated that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. 6'4". I even had police stop me walking a dog in Philly too. Just, yeah. Right.
That's real.
Yep.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, and the fact that you can express yourself, perform, represent on the field, like, the word code switching, this whole thing about like code switching. Is that something you do intentionally off the field and then on the field? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, I'll definitely say you have to, some would say even like putting on a mask a little bit, right?
Yes.
Kind of switching that mode and zone. You do. I would tend to say I don't like to be fake. I don't like to be different people. I would say it's more of a natural thing where I have like a work mode, have a chill mode, have, interview time to, meet fans and meet and greets kind of thing.
Yep.
You know how to provide different energy for certain aspects. I would definitely say you definitely have to handle yourself in different situations in terms of even if you step out for a drink or if you, just walking around in the city kind of thing. That's why most times us athletes are just chilling in our house because you don't even want to just get involved with daily altercations like that. So yeah, you think about all those things too. And like you said, even just being myself in Philly, right? Just being a 6'4" Black guy can be mistaken. And even in Charlotte I would say you would think about it in the South in a sense, but let's say if you're on the outskirts of Charlotte, you would have that vibe in like the smaller towns, but Charlotte within itself is like it's a pretty big city. So I lived in the city for 2 years. I felt comfortable walking around at nights, even walking late at night, walking home because of the Southern hospitality a little bit. I would definitely say it's a little more love in that sense. People, like I said, will give you the head nods and they'll look out for you more than a little bit more than North per se. But yeah, just within Charlotte's realm, you go outside the bubble, completely changes.
Yeah, definitely. How have you learned to manage your different environments and the media, your fans? Like I think that's a skill. I don't think you're born with it, right? It's something to be developed and you need people to guide you. How did you develop that wherewithal and knowledge about how to kind of like navigate each of these environments?
That's a good question. I would definitely say experience and having guidance, like my parents, for sure. My parents are my biggest supporters, so they listen to every interview since I remember my first interview was my sophomore year in high school, and they've watched every, read every newspaper article, just everything. So if I ever messed up, my mom was the first one and my dad as well in the kitchen, or they give me phone calls to this day. I heard your podcast, saw your interview, saw your quote on the website, something I didn't like. My mom early on in high school was like, I didn't like you chewing gum in your interviews. So I stopped chewing gum in my interviews. And that was something I noted because it's very important. I would just be smacking away, chewing my gum after a game or something. It's like, even after a game, just kind of just like toss it away and just like focus on it. I do that to this day. So it's little things like that helped me out early on. And then, just going through from high school to college, now to the pros, learning the experiences, seeing also, I'm someone kind of pays attention to the media, but learning from other people's mistakes and seeing how saying the wrong words can cost you, and doing the wrong post can cost you too. So yeah, I definitely watch others as well and kind of learn from their mistakes too.
Tell me about Monterey Bay FC. It is the team you play on right now. I have to say it, but I'm going to say it with love. Like, you took our W from us at our home opener, and you're the one that scored the winning goal. Like,
I know.
But I can't hold it against you. That's the way the ball bounces, literally and figuratively. And, we have another chance in just about a week and a half or so to kind of redeem ourselves. But what's it like being in California for you? Monterey is beautiful. The Monterey Bay Aquarium, Cannery Row. I've been there a lot. Like, how have you experienced it so far?
I'm enjoying it. I would say it's a little chilly. That's why I got this coat on right now a little bit. Being on the coast is different. Like, but I'm half Jamaican, like I said. It kind of reminds me of a little Jamaica vibe. I've never lived so close to the beach. I've always been on the East Coast. So to have the beach 20 minutes walking is nice. I just got a little e-bike too. You can see my little bike right here too.
Oh, I see it.
I got a little e-bike now, so I don't even drive to practice. I just ride my bike and just ride through neighborhoods, ride to the beach. It's like a 5-minute bike ride. And yeah, I'm definitely loving that aspect of it. And then just getting used to, the new club, new environment. I'm bringing a brand new organization. It's the first time I'm with a first time inaugural year with the club. So it's another new experience for me too, but it's something I'm enjoying. And it's a nice vibe out here too. So that also helps. Good.
I appreciate that. I love the e-bike. That's cool. You're being environmentally correct too out here.
Gotta be. Gas is crazy out here. And yeah, I got this for like 50% off online. A teammate found it for us. Me and like 2 other teammates have it. And I know I'm gonna make my money back in like 2 months. And like I said, I don't even drive my car like that anymore. Once a week, it is a bless.
Yeah. Isn't it like $6.50 now a gallon?
Well, I could find somewhere for like $5.90, but I mean, it's still crazy. $6 pretty much.
Yeah. Well, good for you. That's activism too, right there, in my opinion. So, for those who don't know, what's the day in the life of a professional soccer player? What is like your schedule? Do you have routines? Like, when do you train? What time's your pre-meeting? Things like that.
Yeah, so I would say here is a little different than other clubs, but let's just give you here for now since I'm here.
Yeah.
We start at 10:30 on the field, so you have to be there an hour before, like 9:30. Guys can come in at like 9, maybe even 8:30, get some rehab and stretch, do your thing, get some breakfast in the lounge, hang out, watching TV. You got ESPN going on, locker room kind of thing.
Nice.
And then let's think. I used to go to the gym before trainings, but we have gym every Tuesday and Thursday. So after training, we'll go to the gym. But training usually lasts from like 10:30 to 12:30 the latest. And it's pretty cool here. So it's not like it's real hot in the afternoons or doing practice that late. It's actually like a perfect time. And then from there, if it's a Tuesday or Thursday, shower up. I wouldn't say eat a little food. I would say eat a little snack. It's not like certain clubs do. We don't really get lunch out here like that. And then we go straight to the gym for like 45 minutes to an hour with our trainer. That starts usually around like 1 o'clock. So 1 to like 2. And then guys usually hang out, grab a bite to eat. And then around like 3 o'clock, we go back to your place. So almost like a full day a little bit, but that's Tuesday and Thursdays. And let's say that's a non-lift day. You're done by like 12:30 before 1. And then me personally, I'm just like biking home, going through neighborhoods, that kind of thing. It's nice.
Good for you. No, I like it. I'm like envisioning our facility here at the Oakland Roots, the way you're talking about. I'm like, yeah. Like I can like see the guys doing it based on your description, because I'm there every day. I see it. I'm like, okay, it's similar, except our weights and our gym is on site, so we don't have to go nowhere. So that's a beautiful thing. And new this year, because we're at the old Raiders facility. So it's like we get to benefit from that space.
Right.
Yeah, so
I see that. I see that. That's
cool.
awesome.
So tell me, I mean, you have that schedule, but yet you have time to be in these other professional and like, you know, entrepreneurial endeavors. Like that's amazing. Like, tell me about Backyard Footy.
Yeah, so Backyard Footy started in 2018 when I was in Pittsburgh. I really had the idea for it in 2017 when I was in Philly. I mean, I was watching ESPN. Well, I watched ESPN for the most part, and I'm just like, these guys, professional sports analysts, never talk about soccer. It's like they always say they know every sport in the world. They know every sport, but never about soccer. So I was like, how can I create a channel that's cheap? We're on USL contracts, but can, you know, get the word out there. And podcasts weren't booming like it is now, but it's definitely growing. So let me get a little podcast, got a new computer, 2 mics, and like that was that. But my idea was every time, this was my 5th year in the league, I knew about at least one player on each team on the East Coast. I was like, whenever they come in town, I get them on my show, pick them up from the hotel, come to my apartment complex, interview them on my couch, take them back to the hotel. This is the night before the game. All my homies were down for it. Shout out my homies for doing that for real in the beginning.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah.
But did that. And then 19, I moved to Charlotte, did the same kind of idea, but then I got a video camera. I started doing stuff and putting on my episodes on YouTube. And then I found a videographer and photographer. So I started doing like practice visuals, and I started doing game visuals on top of the podcast as well too. And then, you know, COVID hit, movement came. Got my own podcast. I'm a Black athlete in this realm. I was like, why not use my podcast to educate people on what we're going through? Did a couple Black Lives Matter episodes with like 10 to 15 USL MLS players throughout the league. Talked about all our Black struggles growing up in this country playing soccer. The second episode led to FC Cincinnati donating $250K to local minority communities because Fatai Alashi at the time, who was on Cincinnati, saying how he got racial hate messages in his DMs, and they just put out like a, you know, anti-racist tweet or whatever, and saying they support anti-racism or whatever, but he's still getting racial DMs. So that was still probably the most impactful thing in my podcast. And then from there, I created Black Lives Matter t-shirts. People wanted to help me raise money, but people want to donate regular money. Created a GoFundMe, which then created my foundation, which is called Footy's Got You Now, which is a 501c3. And then, you know, fast forward, Charlotte, I was doing the same thing with visuals last year, in-game, and play throughout the practices as well. And then now here in Monterey, kind of doing the same thing, getting some more visuals. I found a little podcast studio, so I want to get back in that like next month throughout the rest of the season. But yeah, definitely trying to grow that brand. My idea with that is I want Backyard Footy to be like an entertainment company where I'm showing you, you know, insides of preseasons, game days, practices around the whole country, not just whatever market I want to travel, show you different USL markets, MLS markets, behind the scenes kind of thing, and also interview players still after practice, or maybe even in their home, like an MTV crib kind of thing. But, you know, that's my vision with it, and just, you know, grow soccer. Soccer is not even on TV, so that's got to change.
I agree. I mean, I think that's amazing. I think you're moved to do something and you do it. I mean, I think that's amazing. You see the opportunities, you bring visibility to the issues that matter to you. I think it's great. And on top of that, you're the executive committee member of the USL Black Players Alliance. What is the USL Black Players Alliance?
USL Black Players Alliance is a group that we founded in 2020 during the movement, and it was really a group to amplify all the minorities within the league. You know, during the time, the movement, George Floyd, everyone was coming together throughout the sports industries, creating their leagues, and we felt it was right to represent the USL and our players. I would definitely say from the time, some of the memberships definitely decreased a little bit, but we've still been working hard and diligently. We've now, you know, we helped form the United Against Racism campaign within the league, but now we're starting to do our own things. We're partnering with some HBCUs, trying to partner and trying to do some camps, trying to get some Black players their licenses when they finish their careers and stuff too. So yeah, working on doing our things and creating our own identity within the league.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to say, let me know how I can help in any way. I'd love to help. And this is the perspective I come from. So, like I had shared with you earlier, my mom's an immigrant from the Philippines, and my dad is from Ventura County here in California, first guy in his family to go to 4-year college. They're both social activists, and raised me with that attitude and that belief and value. And there was a time in my life where I was going through some stuff, and I just felt like Black people poured love into me, like without question, showed me love, showed me a family, showed me a renewed purpose in what I do. And so I'm always going to highlight Black people and Black communities, like anywhere I can. It's just how I move. It's how I move and how I live. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted you here, for us to share this conversation and for me to sort of like be fully transparent with you about like where I'm coming from. And so I just wanted to share that. And that, like, I mean it when I say, if there's anything I can do to help, I want to. So
appreciate you for that.
Yeah, of course. Do you know Devontae DeBose?
Yeah, I do. He's on the BPA too.
Okay.
We meet weekly.
What? Yeah, that's a friend of mine. He's a very dear, good friend. And so that's cool. I love how like there's connections that we discover when we're chatting with one another.
Yes. I'll definitely give him a shout out for you.
Yes, for sure. Wait a minute. And you guys are both, I'm not going to talk too much about him because he's not here like to really like engage with that, but you guys have had some really cool, you're having really cool things in your personal life go on. Like when we were on the USL Impact series together, that's how we first connected. They did a talk about what comes after awareness, how to sustain the impact of mental health initiatives in the USL. That's where we first met. And we kind of chatted a little bit, and you had shared some personal news. You want to share it here so everybody can congratulate you?
About the engagement recently?
Yes.
I appreciate you. Yeah, me and I guess Devontae too. But
yes,
met her out in Charlotte. I have a home in Charlotte. She's still currently in Charlotte, but she'll be coming out here for the summertime. She's a school counselor, so has to do the school system and the whole school cycle throughout the year. So no, it's been good though. Me moving out here, definitely wanted to secure some things and let her know how I was feeling too. So yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I know. Charlotte, that's the place. And my production company is housed in Charlotte, my podcast production company. Eric Kazimoff is from Charlotte. It's almost like I feel like I have family there, like chosen family. It's cool, super cool. Tell me about, you are an executive board member for the Anti-Racist Soccer Club. What is that?
Anti-Racist Soccer Club was formed around the same time, but we kind of noticed how clubs put out a lot of statements, don't back it up. Everyone is pretty much saying they support anti-racism, but they have all white board members putting out all these anti-racist things, but your boards and your motives don't reflect what you guys are putting out. So we formed, there's like 6 of us, we came together to hold the clubs accountable and actually create positivity and change within their communities, affect Black businesses, affect within your organizations, create change within your board members, create new rules. We have a 10-point plan on our website. Follow the 10-point plan, and then create some effectiveness within your communities, kind of thing. And then we also not like hold you accountable like that, but we follow up and check in with you every quarterly or every so often, and see what you guys went up to. How can we critique it and do better within your community and your organization?
I love it. I was checking it out and I was reading through the 10-point plan. Were you a part of creating those 10 points?
Well, yes and no. Bilal Saeed is the founder. Already had kind of the 10-point plans in place and brought it to me and Brandon Miller, and we kind of discussed it, critiqued it. That was also kind of like the pillars for the United Against Racism campaign within the league. So yeah, Bilal kind of was the origin of it, and then he brought it to us and we all kind of critiqued it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can't build all that on your own. You need other minds and perspectives and visions about it. We're proud at the Oakland Roots Sports Club to be an anti-racist soccer club. So it's amazing. You. Yeah, I hope that, we're the only one in the USL Championship right now. And I hope that doesn't stay the same way too long. It's important for everyone to get on board here and do the work. It's not just, you don't just get to say that,
right?
But you got to commit to the 10-point plan and put that into effect. Exactly. So I love it. I love it. There's got to be some accountability there. You don't just get to say that. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we're coming to you. I think it's June 3rd. We're going to come play you.
Oh yeah. Wow.
It's at your home field.
Wow.
What'd you say?
Bring a jacket.
Bring a jacket.
Nah, I'm not going to lie. These night games are.
Bring a jacket. That's hilarious. Well, it's funny. We wear a jacket here in Oakland at night. When at halftime, we start at 7, and then at halftime, everybody's putting their jacket on if they hadn't already, because we got the win too off the bat. But I look forward to it. Like I want to be there. I go to all the home games, but this one, and then Sac Republic is like within driving distance. You don't have to get into a plane to go. So that's my goal to be there. And I'd love to see you. I mean, secretly, I'm going to be cheering all of you guys on. I love my roots. I want us to win. Don't get me wrong, but everybody's human. Everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's making a living, doing their job. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I'll get to meet you in person there.
Yes, definitely. Come say hello. I'd love you guys to come out. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Well, thank you again so much. I want to make sure, is there anything else that you want to highlight, that you want to make sure that you put some representation to or visibility to? You're doing so many amazing, wonderful, just awe-inspiring things. It's just, I want people to hear and know that, professional athletes have other things going on. They're more than just their sport. And right. Hugh is a very exemplary example of that. And so I want to give you the mic and make sure that you get to highlight everything that you want to highlight that I might have missed or went over too fast. So the mic is yours right now.
I appreciate you. Definitely, follow BackYardFooty on all platforms. BackYardFooty.org is my website, one word. BackYardFooty, one word on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And definitely in terms of pro athletes, my vision with BackYardFooty and just doing what I'm doing is, yes, I have a degree. I went to George Mason University and studied business, but to be frank, I'm not really trying to work in the corporate industry coming from a professional realm, doing what I've been doing for 9 years now. I want to kind of use BackYardFooty as my job when I finish and stay within the soccer realm, control my own schedule, be the boss of my own entity kind of thing, and then build that brand and business. And, hopefully that's what I do. Not saying it's 100% everything. I'm gonna do other things on the side of make some income, but that's my vision with it. And so just, if that's your vision, you have some other things you want to do, definitely just start it. You literally never know. Like not saying because of it fully, but because of those episodes, Black Lives Matter episodes, we helped form the BPA because we talked after in group chats like, yo, this is powerful. We need to come together and create our own group. Boom, the BPA happened and we formed because of the timing of George Floyd. Also, like I said, because of Fatai, FC Cincinnati, I would say, just a bunch of other powerful conversations that I've had have opened the doors for, even giving you guys visuals now and videography and things, doing live podcast shows at a brewery on YouTube and stuff too. Like, definitely never would imagine these things when I was sitting on my couch in 2018, So I was just doing what I was doing, and then, year after year, new doors open up. And I was even with ESPN in Charlotte too, ESPN 730, working at their podcast studio before COVID too. So just follow it and just try. You literally never know too, and anything can happen. So I appreciate you for letting me on and giving me the time as well.
Of course. Thank you. People need to hear you. People need to hear, what you stand for and what you're about. That's important for other athletes too, and other non-athletes, that right. You have a platform, a voice. Like you aren't just gonna, sorry about the basketball metaphor, but shut up and dribble. You're not just gonna do that.
Right, exactly. Though.
They don't get to shut you up.
Exactly.
And so I love the encouragement, to others who are listening, like, follow your dream. Like, Hugh wants to be a entrepreneur. That's what he was talking about. He's not trying to work for anybody else. He wants to create and design his own brand that you have full control over.
Exactly.
In all aspects. And so follow him on all his platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're going to do you up on our show notes so people can read them as well. it's important. I mean, this goes without saying, but I want to give a little bit of representation to it is, all that Black players, Black people have gone through over history, but in our immediate history around Black Lives Matter and what's come up, how have you found your peers, colleagues, friends, yourself? How has that impacted your mental health to have gone through all of that?
Yeah, I mean, wow. Definitely a roller coaster ride when I look back in the origins of it. Ahmaud Arbery, like I said, personally for me, because at the time was COVID, I was jogging around all the time in my fiance's place was in Rock Hill, South Carolina, not even in Charlotte. So I'm jogging around Rock Hill, North Carolina, and I'm not from the South. So it happens, and now I'm paranoid, checking my shoulder all the time.
Yeah.
She's texting me or timing me when I'm on jogs now, making sure I'm getting home at certain times, like little trauma like that. And, right, I'm a pro athlete, right, just trying to stay in shape for my season. So at that time, it was definitely heightened, and drove me for the last couple of years. And, my friends and family have been supportive, and people have reached out that I didn't even think would be reaching out, but people reached out and showed love and support. And it's also showed me who's with me, who isn't with me. Mm-hmm. And now it's at the point where I see times have changed a little bit, where it's a little more pro-Black in a sense, where I would say people are looking for more like Black creatives a little bit more, and of course supporting Black industries and businesses a little more. So, it's interesting how times work, but it's definitely something that took some time to grow on my mental over the years, but I see the benefits of it, and it's now just like fueled me a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, yeah, you're again just trying to be the human that you are out in your environment, and something like that happens, and then you're going to have your girlfriend, fiance now is going to have anxiety, feelings, worry about you being safe.
Even now, still to a sense too, she's just making sure I get home at night. Still, you just never know. And then, to be very frank, my first time on the West Coast, but I would definitely say besides like Oakland, besides like the Compton, maybe Venice area, there's not too many like Black people out here in general either. So I'm definitely like standing out when I'm riding my bike through the communities. It's all Spanish communities, and no problem. But and I have dreads and everything too. It's easy to recognize me to a T. So it's in the back of our minds a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, to take it to, so my daughter, she's lighter complected than I am, but we talk about, and we have our chosen family is always around. And we talk about, like, Auntie Whitney, who's the one in Charlotte, talks with her sons about how you need to behave when you're driving. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. And so she's coming up, learning how to drive now. And I don't want to say she's funny, but she goes, Mommy, like, I'm scared to drive. I don't want to learn how to drive. I'm like, how come? It's like, because all the stories I hear about, like, what we have to be worried about. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, baby girl, the cool thing is you have light skin privilege right now. Like you are not a Black person. Right, so that makes a difference. She's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. So to recognize, her privilege, but that all the people around her godbrothers, family, chosen family are Black people. She, like, I guess naturally so, puts herself in that category and internalize that worry.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So I was like, baby girl, you don't have to worry. She's like, oh, okay. Okay. That's good. But I'm still gonna be careful. I'm like, okay. But it's those are the conversations that a lot of people don't know, if you're not a brown or Black person or in the BIPOC community, that you have to have with your children as part of raising them.
Right.
Learning how to navigate your environment, learning how to navigate police, right. Driving. Like that's the police, like a rite of passage.
Police thing is very serious. Like I said, I got pulled over just walking on the street, even in Philly, a bunch of times. And, if you literally act a certain way and, if you just talk back, that's why I give shout out to, definitely my parents who raised me a certain way. I wasn't raised a certain way, speak polite manners, all kind of things. Like, oh man, I'm thinking sometimes I might make it a practice the next day, and I have to deal with this stuff. It's my daily life, and it's just crazy. Yeah. Wow. Times.
And that impacts your mental health and your ability. I mean, if you don't feel safe, that's going to overall, impact your overall well-being. and your mental health, your ability to make decisions in healthful ways, to be able to control your emotions. And it's a lot, it's a whole nother layer that people take for granted who aren't in it. Right. And I think that's important to recognize. I want to highlight that for sure. Like, being a pro athlete is not all like, what do they call it? Roses and unicorns or whatever. It's not glorified all the time.
Right.
And people need to know what the day-to-day experience is. And that's like you with your podcast and all that you're doing. I'm doing the same way, to have conversations like this with my podcast around race, equity, inclusion. Athletes are more than what they play. They're humans. It's like, it's so important. That's why I wanted you to talk about your day and like bring like, your day can be like a pretty, okay, that's a day. Like, that's like a day at the office. Right. Okay, that's fine. And like, don't like, I don't know, this is my thing. Like, don't put so much on it and like, then expect things from athletes that you're not expecting from yourself even. I don't know. It's this platform that people idealize you on, right? And then if you don't meet it, then you're like already, I'm a bash
and everything. Mm-hmm. Not even like, not commenting back, not responding back, not taking a picture, not signing an autograph. And a lot of times, like, we are very minuscule in a sense compared to what the guys NBA and all this stuff is, but I can definitely see how they can get annoyed and even, just bother sometimes with a constant bombarding of autographs and pictures and fans. Like I said, is a minuscule because it's more personal in the USL. You guys can come up to us and stuff.
Yes.
Players are way more receptive and understanding and do those things. But on that scale, and having hundreds of thousands of people always bombarding you, man, I can see it. I can understand a little bit too. So I definitely agree.
Yeah. And then it can be misread, right? Like, like people have bad days. They're not robots. That's a lot of like on them all the time. But yeah, it's a skill that has to be learned. So I had asked you to like share your last thoughts, and we started talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. So I know, right? I love it when that happens.
Me too.
Well, thank you again for your time. You're doing some amazing endeavors. Good luck with everything in the future. Monterey FC, your new life as a married man, and your wedding. Like I wish you all the best there.
Really appreciate you.
Thanks, you.
I'll see you soon. Have a good one.
One of my favorite things about our Sportsepreneur content platform is the opportunity to chat with amazing people in and around the world of sports. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you want to connect more, hit us up on Instagram at Sportsepreneur. Thank you for listening to this CADSource production, the Sportsepreneur podcast, the podcast where sports and entrepreneurship collide. Sportsepreneur is a content platform, a collaborative team, and a marketing brand that is all about showcasing leaders and difference makers in and around the world of sports. While we create our own content, we also create content with you. This includes collaborative content and exclusive content for your brand. Think podcasts, blogs, social media, and overall content strategy. Our sports content marketing team is specifically niche for those in the sports industry. That includes sports businesses, athletes, managers, coaches, trainers, entrepreneurs, and business leaders in the sports market. The bottom line is we want to help with your sports-related brand, your content marketing, and your story. Connect with us on Instagram at Sportsepreneur or find us online at sportsepreneur.com. Sportsepreneur, the content platform where sports and entrepreneurship collide.